Follow your passions is the most important and popular theme of commencement speeches, from Jeff Bezos to Steve Jobs, as you can see right here. This seems to be the #1 advice for soon-to-be graduates from highly successful people. And I was actually inspired to film this video because I recently finished reading a book called Grit by Angela Duckworth. And I wanted to share a particular chapter from this book where it talks about interest, how gritty people are able to pursue and find their passion, their lifelong passion, from trial and error. This chapter actually reminded me of the #1 question that I get asked all the time from strangers is, why did you decide to become an HRIS business analyst? Such a niche and unfamiliar territory for a lot of people. I think people get curious just to discover why I decided to pursue this particular career path. I think a lot of people also make an assumption that there was this aha or light bulb moment where I just woke up one day and decided to become an HRIS business analyst. The truth is that it wasn't an easy process. And to be honest, I don't know if this is something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. I just wanted to let you guys know that I do really like what I do on a day-to-day basis because it's project driven. There are numerous challenges and different things that come up which help me stay motivated because I don't like doing same tasks over and over again, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to pursue other opportunities in the future. So I wanted to give you guys a perspective from someone who actually really enjoys her work right now, but it could change throughout my career and life, that if there are other opportunities that are available, then I might try to explore other areas. So I'm trying to stay flexible in terms of my career path. For those of you who are unfamiliar with an acronym HRIS, it stands for Human Resources Information System. So I'm basically a techie within HR department. If you're interested in learning more about what I do, then click above for the link to find out the glimpse of my life as a business analyst. Regardless, I wanted to take this opportunity to walk you through my journey of how I decided to become an HRIS business analyst, to show that even 7 years ago, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do after I graduated from university. I would say for me, luck had little to do with it. And for others, they could be lucky. They could be influenced by their parents or relatives or other friends and family. So, there are some of you out there who might have found your calling earlier than I did. But I wasn't so lucky. In my final year of university, when I told people that I wanted to become HRIS analyst, a lot of people, had blank looks on their faces, or I got a few nods, but they had no idea what I wanted to do exactly for work. I had a conviction that this is something that I wanted to give it a try, that this is something worth giving a try for the time being, so I decided to pursue that opportunity, and this is why I am where I am today. If it's something that you're interested in finding out more, then just keep on watching. So it's a story time. We need to dial back a little bit to back when I was in high school. There was a brief period in my life where I wanted to actually become a dentist, most likely because my parents actually own a dental supply business. So I grew up playing in dentist office, and I grew up playing with their sons and daughters. So naturally I was more inclined, and I was that kid who was never afraid of going to see a dentist. This also meant back in high school that I needed to take all 3 science courses in order to apply for university. So back then, I was actually involved in extracurricular activity called Sanofi Avantis Biotech Challenge, which is a science fair, but it's geared specifically towards biotechnology. So I've done that for 3 years in high school, thinking that I'm gonna grow up and become a dentist and major in biotechnology, and that was my passion and my life career. And I thought to myself, when I grow up, I want to become a dentist. I didn't mind taking the courses, but they weren't easy for me, so I actually had to study very hard in order to maintain good grades, in order to get into university. And it was really interesting because when I was participating in this science fair that I was mentioning about, it took a lot of work and effort because I had to work in university labs with PhD students, and it was, to me, the first year was the most exciting because we were able to find the result that we were looking for right away, and that was a very exciting time. But as time went by, in my second and third year, it felt dull. There was not a lot of human interaction, and I noticed that I found myself bored at times because sometimes there's this hypothesis or a certain result that you're looking for, and if you can't get to that result, then you have to change your methodologies to see if you can get closer to the hypothesis or to the result that you're specifically looking for. Once I got into university, I was so overwhelmed and so frightened because I've never been surrounded by so many smart, type A, competitive classmates in my life. For the first 2 years, I was solely focused on surviving, which meant I needed to do my homework, I needed to pass exams, I needed to party on weekends and hang out with friends and have a social life. But at the same time, I had to devote myself to extracurricular activities to find out exactly what I wanted to do and which field I was interested in. At first, I thought of going into finance, so that's why I became the chairperson for VCPE, which stands for Venture Capital and Private Equity Competition, where a group of students pitch their ideas to investors or venture capitalists, and they actually get real-time feedback from the industry professionals. So I organized that competition with the help of a group of amazing people, which was a really great opportunity, but unfortunately it still wasn't something that I expected. But even though the event was a success and it was a great learning opportunity, it still didn't feel right to me. So I moved on to the next adventure. At the end of the second year, I actually had to specialize in area, so I had to declare my specialization in marketing or supply chain management or finance. So for somebody who doesn't like math, my selection wasn't that great because I knew I didn't like finance or accounting. I wasn't sure if I could go into marketing because most of my friends went to either accounting or marketing, but I didn't think that I have the creative mind for marketing. So I ended up specializing in organizational behavior and HR because it involves human interaction. I thought, hey, this is something that I could try. So by a process of elimination, that's how I actually ended up deciding my career. So in third year university, by sheer coincidence, I happened to just walk by hallways where a bunch of student clubs and organizations were promoting their upcoming events. So I happened to talk to this girl named Tiffany, and I remember she was very enthusiastically trying to get me to come to one of her events, one of her club's events, which was for management information system. And she was also explaining to me that she happens to specialize both in accounting or supply chain management. I can't remember which one of the two, but she told me that she was specializing in both supply chain management and management information system because she believes that there are more opportunities in the future for supply chain industry to go to automation and use technology to advance to the next level. And this was aha moment for me because it never occurred to me before that I could actually specialize in HR and something else. It never occurred to me that you could specialize in two different areas and combine the expertise. But thanks to her, I knew that this was something that I was really interested in. Technology was the new hype word being thrown around a lot in business. And this is when also the era where we talked about a lot of mobile apps coming out and automation and cloud services. So I knew I was interested in technology, but to understand the fundamentals by studying management information system has never occurred to me until then. So I thought this was a great opportunity, and as I took more courses in organizational consulting that was offered in my school, I realized that with technology there are a lot of changes that come with it. The biggest takeaway that I want to share with you is that even if you feel lost in terms of your career, and even if you're not sure of where you want to be, it's okay. Just don't give up. And here are some 4 key takeaways that I want to share with you today. So first, number 1, try different things. And this could be literally anything and everything. So imagine that you're going to a buffet for the first time, right? You're not sure what kind of food you're gonna like, so you have to sample little bits of food on your plate on your first round to see which ones you like. And then once you know which kind of food you like, then you can go back for more, for a second and even third rounds. So think of it like that when it comes to your career or your job prospects. You don't have to know right away, right after university, to know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. You can try internships, paid internships, non-paid internships. You can try volunteering, or even if you're in school right now, even better, try to get involved in extracurricular activities. It is scientifically proven by psychology Margot Gardner from Columbia University that kids who spend more than a year participating in extracurricular activities are significantly more likely to graduate from universities and as young adults to volunteer in their communities. In fact, the hours per week kids devote to extracurriculars can also predict having a job and earning more money, but only for those who participate for 2 years or more. Number 2, go on information or coffee meetings. So it's a privilege, and you can actually ask other professionals who've been in the industry for a while and ask them out for information coffee meetings. And I've done a lot of information coffee meetings in my life, and there are certain etiquettes that you need to follow. And you need to be really considerate of the other person's time, as time is of essence, right? So let me know in the comments below if you want to learn more about some of these etiquettes and what kind of tips and tricks you want to see for asking somebody to go on information coffee meeting with you. So this is a great way to make you stand out from the rest of the crowd. So I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but when I was in university during recruiting season, whenever the big 4 accounting firms or the consulting firms come to campus, they do mass recruiting at once for the following year. And sometimes having coffee meetings with some of the recruiters or people who worked there previous years can really boost your, can really set you apart from the rest of the crowd. Because imagine being a recruiter and reading exact same resumes for hundreds and hundreds of hours. Sometimes it's best if you can leave a really good impression, and that is one way that you can fast track your way into finding an internship or a job. Number 3, try to document your feelings, your journey, the ups and downs, even the rejections. So what I try to do whenever I felt really lost or when I was really happy, I tried to capture that moment. So I'm not an everyday diary person for sure, but what I've tried to do over the years is that whenever something exciting came up, or if there's something good that comes out of something, or if I am extremely upset or sad, I try to write down those feelings and try to think of what the takeaways are, and then try to write down how I think and what the reasons for my happiness or unhappiness could be, right? So it's really interesting because at a later time that I can sort of go back and reflect on what kind of things I was telling myself, what kind of limitations or what kind of things made me extremely happy, sad, not so happy. So I found it very healing or reflective. So last but not least, I want to tell you guys to keep an open mind and cast a wide net, but not too wide, because there's limited resources, which is time and your energy. So you sometimes have to make choices, or depending on what kind of interest you have and what kind of things that you really think are benefit from. So when I was in high school and university, there were so many different things that I tried. I didn't mention all of them, but I was involved in gazillion extracurricular activities, unpaid internships, and volunteering. And that's to say, I didn't get every single opportunity that I wanted or would have loved to have the opportunity to. But what I did was I pursued opportunities relentlessly, despite rejections, despite people telling me that I can't do. So my advice for you is to go out there and try something that you think you might actually be interested in, and it doesn't matter that you got rejected the first time or the second time. Just go and find another opportunity that will give you the same kind of exposure or experience that you need to grow as a person. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful. Let me know what you think. If you guys like the video, I really appreciate if you like my videos and comments below, and give me some feedback in terms of the content and what you want to see next. And I'll see you guys in the next video.